Welcome to Ole Walls House. It's me. It's your man. It's your main man. It's Ole Walls, and I'm back with you, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 232 coming your way. Before we get into anything, I just want to say thank you to everybody. Appreciate the support, the watches, the listens. So thank you. Couldn't do it without all you guys. So again, just appreciate it. If you're looking to support the pod, like, rate, comment, review, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. If you're looking for some sweet merch like this here hat, this here shirt, check it out in the merch shop in the link down the show notes below. You can also find some sweet merch there from my guy MJ over at the Full Range Pod. And you can find the Full Range Pod on Spotify and Apple Pods, as well as on the Ole Walls House YouTube channel. We got Jeff Slanovec coming on this week to talk some U.S. Open preview, some other golf stuff, and just, kind of do the rounds, do the pre-major stuff, and it's U.S. Open week. So without any further ado, let's get into it. It's a major week in golf, so we've got Mr. Jeff Slanovec back with us, as has become tradition here. Jeff, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Can't believe that we're here. It's U.S. Open week. Doesn't feel like it. We just talked about that pre-show.
Yeah, just off air, we were like, I can't believe we're here already. Like, it doesn't seem like we are here yet, but alas.
It kind of fits, given our conversation way earlier this year about how all the big events are in the beginning of the year, and then they just drop off, and you pop in for a couple majors, and the season's over.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, I watched a couple holes of the Canadian Open this week. Like, I'm glad we've got U.S. Open to talk about on the pod, because if I had to lead with Canadian Open, I'd have been like, I don't know. Bud Colley, he was in an accident that I don't really know the details of, but like everyone likes to reference the accident vaguely. But isn't there something funny around it?
Isn't
there like some questionable?
I know very little about it. I can't say I think I've ever picked Bud Colley for anything. If I did, there might have been one year where I picked him in fantasy for the team event because that meant I got Justin Thomas, and then people realized that everyone was doing that, and then we no longer participate in the team event in fantasy. But the Canadian Open needs to kind of find its niche. It's going to these golf courses that nobody's seen, nobody knows anything about. There's no buzz. And, I didn't watch one shot on Sunday, which is very rare.
They did, where were they at a couple? Yeah, this one that they've been at the last two times kind of stinks. TPC Toronto. The one that Oakdale, where Nick Taylor won, that one was sweet.
That one was cool. And it had that really weird, funky par 5 at the end where, like, you kind of all laid up and then still had a long iron in. And then they changed the logo for Nick Taylor, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Put him as in the Canadian Open logo. But, just
sick.
not, it's just a bleh golf tournament. So
it's kind of just what's happened with the signature event schedule is that, like, if these tournaments fall at certain parts in the calendar, like, they're just screwed.
Yeah, correct. And we're going to see it more. It leads to a great debate about what's going to happen with the sport here and where it goes and what sponsors stay in. But that's not what we're here to talk about, Jordan.
No, there's a great conversation for that, and that's probably coming on the pod when we get more of an idea. Before we get to U.S. Open stuff, just kind of want to spin around. There's some other things. You and I were both, we texted a couple of things last night, but UFC last night was phenomenal. I could have gone for it being a little earlier in the day, or maybe even on a Saturday, and not have been up at 1:30 last night. And then I was like dozing in and out, and then the main event, like, holy shit, was that fun.
Very fun. And I will put my hand up. I'm not here as any sort of UFC expert, boxing expert, really any combat sport expert. I watched the UFC a while when I was in Gettysburg because the bar that we would go to on Saturday nights had it, and it's been a couple years since, but really just tuned in for the outdoor White House part of it. And man, were there some incredible performances, and none better than the main event. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, Justin Gaethje. Like, I've I can't tell you how many times I've rooted for him because he's been like the American against like Khabib or like just some other like non-American guy, and I like don't have a vested rooting interest beyond that. And I'm like, okay, I'm rooting for Justin Gaethje. And it's just like always the bridesmaid, never the bride. And what a call from him in the interview. Joe Rogan asked him, he's like, "You're a 6-1 underdog." He's like, 250 years ago, we were way more than a 6-1 underdog.
Phenomenal.
Just awesome.
Phenomenal. The whole setup of everything was fantastic. Some obviously really cool pictures, really cool videos. The fighters seemed to love it. I saw the post fight press conference with Joe talking about, or with Dana White talking about if anybody had an issue being outside or anything, and just a really, really good night. Obviously, they tried to do it on Flag Day, so that moved it to Sunday, and started an hour late, I think. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So it went quite late, but a couple really good fights at the end of the card. So
yeah, it was sweet. NBA Finals. The Knicks staged the largest comeback in NBA Finals history, and then I believe the third and fifth largest comeback in NBA Finals history, all in the same series.
That's right.
Just wild stuff. I didn't watch any of game 1, 2. Was 3 the big comeback, or was that 4? It was 4.
It was 4 was the yeah, it was 4 was the big comeback. It was 2-2.
That's the only game I watched anything of.
Yep.
I was watching it at my buddy's house, came home, had it on like in the background, just kind of not paying attention. And then like mid-third, I'm like, all right, I'm going to bed. Like, this game's over. I'm letting the dog out. I'm refilling the waters. I think it was a cool night, so I was like turning off the AC, opening up the house, brush my teeth, go to the bathroom. I'm like crawling into bed, and I get like the notification pops up on my phone. It's like, oh, the Knicks are within 3. I'm like, what? It was just down like 25. I mean, one of the most improbable NBA Finals of all time, you'd have to imagine.
Yeah, I mean, that's the Nova Knicks. That's the Nova Knicks. That's that Jay Wright toughness. Shout out Dickinson grad Leon Rose, president of the Knicks, NBA champion. Love to see that. Really, the Spurs deserved it. I mean, you always say they're going to be back. I hope they're never back again. Spurs, scumbags. Wemby, send them back to France. But it really was a wild finals. Like, the Spurs would come out and kind of just assert dominance, and the Knicks would kind of just, I don't even want to say linger, because like it didn't feel like in game 4 they were lingering. Like, they were kind of out, and then they were out until they weren't. And then just some of the dumbest things the Spurs could have possibly done late in the game, whether it was Wemby throwing the ball to Stephon Castle off his back and the Knicks coming back in that game, or, I mean, just blowing a 30-point lead.
I know Crazy. The NBA, it's like you shoot a bunch of threes now. Like, I'm not trying to like, but like, it felt like they shot a ton of threes, like up huge. Like, I don't know. It felt weird. And I know like Chuck and like Shaq were talking about that at the end of the game. Like, hey, when you've missed the first 10, like just maybe something else when you're up 25. Let's not like just keep chucking up prayers. Like maybe Wemby just go stand around the basket. You're 7-7 and touch the rim standing.
Yeah, and the Spurs run a little bit. I don't have the data to back it up, but I know that the Thunder were eliminated in both of them. So it kind of felt, as a Thunder fan, like deja vu again. But it felt a little bit like the Mavs a couple years ago run to the finals before they lost, where like the Mavs just got unbelievably hot from 3. And like PJ Washington was raining threes. Like guys who weren't making threes at a high clip all year did. And the Spurs, I mean, Devin Vassell was whacking threes, and Stephon Castle was shooting the ball really well, and he doesn't really shoot it well. And I think Dylan Harper made like a ridiculous step back or two in a couple of the games. Then all of a sudden it all kind of came to a head late in almost every game of the series. But I saw some statistic about the probability of them coming back in all 3 of those games. Just being like 1 in a gazillion.
I mean, I've got this is in the 4 games the Spurs lost. In game one, they had a 91.6% chance of winning from ESPN Analytics when they were up 13 midway through the third. In game two, they had a 72.8% chance of winning when they were up 2 with 1 minute left in the fourth. They had a 99.6% chance of winning game four when they were up 20 with 9:33 left in the fourth. And then in game five, they had a 95.4% chance of winning when they were up 10 with 7:54 left in the fourth. I mean, that's just all-time choke job kind of stuff.
Yeah, it is. It is. And obviously they are young. They are inexperienced. Coach is inexperienced. But it really did just feel like, the West is loaded. And the East was kind of wide open this year with Tatum's injury missing a ton of time, and you can't trust the Sixers. And Halliburton hurt for the Pacers after last year. And the West is just going to continue to be loaded. The Thunder aren't going anywhere. If anything, they're going to get better. Spurs will be good. Nuggets still have Jokic, but they got to figure out the direction they want to head. Ant Edwards in Minnesota is fantastic, and he was hurt throughout the playoffs. So did kind of feel like an opportunity for the Spurs to kind of step through and take it. The Knicks chose to do that instead, and not me, but maybe some of the people on ESPN and talk show hosts jumped the gun on the Spurs a little bit. They beat the Thunder, and all of a sudden we crown them like the next dynasty in sports, and they're all a bunch of kids who honestly haven't won shit. And De'Aaron Fox is the reason that Mike Brown got fired in San Antonio, and now Mike
must feel good for Mike Brown.
In Sacramento, and now De'Aaron Fox loses to Mike Brown in the playoffs. So kind of funny how that all worked. But yeah, it was a fun finals. It was a fun couple weeks of sports.
Yeah, and I think moving over to the golf, I think we're going to have a fun U.S. Open this week. If it was any indication of what the conditions are going to look like, the wind was whipping today in the practice round from some of the videos I saw. And I believe the weather forecast is for higher winds on Thursday. Yep. I saw somebody tweet that a player told him that if the wind is blowing, the 11th green is unplayable. And I'm just like, yes, let's do it. Like, let's just go. Let's hey, figure it out. You know what I want so bad? I want a USGA gaff. Like, I want Saturday afternoon, just like last time we were at Shinnecock. I want all the players to be losing their minds. Like, once a year, I'm in. Just do the dumbest shit.
Yeah, I saw the same thing that you saw, obviously, in the videos. The wind is whipping, and you are in an area there of the country where it's going to be wind dependent, kind of like out where you are, right? In the Midwest, like the wind's going to have to play a factor. It's going to play a factor being out there on Long Island. I worry a little bit too much that the USGA is getting a touch soft, and some of these players now can just go to whatever venue's hosting the U.S. Open on Monday and be like, oh my God, if they don't cut the rough, and then magically they cut the rough, or oh my God, the pins, yada, yada, yada. I think I saw that their initial plan is to slow the greens down a touch and put more tricky pins out there as kind of a, how can we get the best of both worlds? But yeah, I'm with you. It's the one tournament every year. It's fun to watch guys just survive. Find a way to get the ball in the hole and make pars. And that's fun.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the USGA has lost the high and inside. Like, we're gonna buzz the tower here. I don't think we're getting it. Like, I think it'll be tough, but like I have no envisions that there's gonna be like some, Saturday at Shinnecock last time we were there, or like the Sunday there back in 2004 when they lost the green. Like, I just don't think that's coming. And I think you're going to still hear plenty of bitching. And I think the bitching's going to be just unwarranted. Like, it's going to be hard, and it's going to be I don't even know if they'll get it to borderline unfair, but like, it'll just be really hard. And I think we're just going to hear a ton of bitching, and I don't think they'll push the envelope, which saddens me. For
sure. And they've already widened the fairways.
Yeah, they're wider than they have the last two times, either time.
Yeah, I think I read that this is they're trying to get the course to play the way it was designed type of thing. So I don't care if you miss these gigantic fairways, deal with the penalty. And
Yep.
if missing the fairway means you can't hit the ball on the green, then hit the fairway.
Yeah.
Or miss the green in the right spot. That gives you a chance. I mean, that's what we all are tuning in to see when we turn on the U.S. Open this week. And I think the players are good enough. There's going to be somebody who figures it out.
Yeah, I think there'll be a handful of guys under par by the end of the week. I don't imagine we're seeing an over par winner here this week. It's par 70, I'd have to imagine, right?
It feels like they turn every U.S. Open into a par 70 now.
Yeah, they played it at par 70 every time they've been here. So
that feels right.
So yeah, any thoughts on winners? I mean, obviously the usual bunch. I mean, I don't feel like we've got like a horse for the course kind of thing with this. I mean, it's your usual guys you got your eye on. Scotty, your Rorys. Doesn't feel right for Bryson. Feels a little too slippery for him, even though he has figured out how to play Augusta a couple times. But like,
yeah, it's there's no doubt about those top guys obviously being in the mix. Rory McIlroy has only finished outside the top like 12 one time in like 7 or 8 years in the U.S. Open.
Yeah, he's a U.S. Open killer for not having won one.
Correct. And it's probably worth spending a second on Scotty, just like what's going on. The Muirfield Village performance, I mean, it got me. But it's I don't know. Like, it's the first major in a while I've gone in and was like, is it really Scotty week? Like, if we talk strategy and difficulty and not killing yourself, that feels like him. All the data up until Muirfield Village said that he was still having a similar year to last year and it just not resulting in wins. And then he was just an absolutely awful golfer for a lot of.
And a basket case on top of it too. Like,
yeah,
like getting into it with his caddy and being like, I don't know what more I can do. I'm hitting the perfect shot and you can't get me the right wind. And it's like, well, that's going to be a thing. Like if that's in his head.
For sure. I think you're looking at the top guys obviously have a chance. I think I would completely toss Bryson DeChambeau, get him out. Something's not right. It's not working. He's testing a 7-degree driver. I think I saw. Yeah,
he's got like a TaylorMade driver got conformed just
Bryson,
this week.
Just keep working on the golf ball that flies longer and straighter on mishits.
I need it so bad.
You have a buyer in me. Send him to Pennsylvania, but it would be an absolutely shocking result to watch him come here after his 2 major performances this year and be anything close to remotely in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of them, I think I'm looking for 2 things: guys that pepper fairways and guys that can really, really, really play in the wind. The wind's going to be a factor. If you can't control your golf ball in it, it feels like you're going to be in big trouble this week. So I lean those 2 things in trying to figure out who I think is going to be there on Sunday.
Odd sheet, just going. All right, Boomer. Odd sheet, it's Scotty, Rory, John Rahm, Cam Young, Tommy Fleetwood, Matt Fitzpatrick, Ludwig, Xander, Bryson, Koepka, which you can throw that out. He's hurt now. Morikawa.
Another guy you can toss.
Morikawa, no way. Hang on 1 second.
Interesting. Ramble. Why? Why are we tossing Morikawa?
He's not. He can't do it. I don't know. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. Hang on. Let me deal with the dog for a second. You just talked about Morikawa.
All right. Yeah. Disappointed to hear that Wally out on Morikawa. Came back last week. Thought he had a solid week. Finished T29 last week. Looking up some stats here. I wasn't prepared to have to defend the guy. But let's look at how he played last week. Gained strokes off the tee. Gained strokes on approach. Was 20th in field and putting last week. One of the best wing players in the entire world. Phenomenal driver of the ball. Phenomenal.
Are we still talking about Morikawa?
Yeah.
Why do we think he's a good win player?
What do you mean? Why do we think because the data says he's one of the best win players.
Okay.
He was out with the injury. He's back. He played last week. He had a kid, baby swag.
perspective.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of names at the top that I think are good, and just like I'm not losing money on Ludwig again this week. Like if he beats me on Sunday, he beats me on Sunday. I think that next part of the players are interesting, and I'm very, very intrigued by Colin Morikawa.
Okay, I was tossing him. Him, Burns, Justin Rose, Tyrrell Hatton, Siwoo, Wyndham, and Justin Thomas, all 40-1.
You just gave another one that I really, really like this week. I'll let you try to guess who.
Siwoo?
No ass shaking this week.
Siwoo shaking that ass. Hatton?
No, God no.
I feel like he's just going to have a meltdown.
We always think that, right? Like, one ball's going to roll off the green or do something stupid. After
I'm running out of guys here, so it's not Burns. So it's down.
It's definitely Burns.
Burns.
It's definitely Burns. Yeah,
interesting.
Absolutely. I was praying all week last week that he did not do something at the Canadian Open. I had him last year when he lost in the playoff to Ryan Fox. Best putter, couldn't make a putt to save his life in that. Went back to Toronto, played really well last week, didn't get it done. Great driver of the ball, one of the best putters in the world. I think he's been 7th and 9th the last 2 U.S. Opens. Yeah, absolutely. Sam Burns. Let's do it.
Okay. You know who scares me, and I don't like it because I'm not a big fan of him? Robert McIntyre.
Great win player.
Yep. He feels like a guy who...
Not playing great right now, though.
No, he's not. But like, it feels like he's like a guy that, like, all of a sudden Saturday, he's just going to like start sneaking up the board.
Yeah. There's like, another guy who's not
like
well
a huge charge, but like just like all of a sudden it's like, oh, Robert McIntyre's 5 back. Oh, Robert McIntyre's 4 back. Oh,
which is what he did last year.
Yep.
There's another great player in the U.S. Open. He's actually been better than Rory in the U.S. Open, but not playing really well either. And that's Xander Schauffele.
Yep.
And it should fit. I mean, everything about Shinnecock should fit him, but he's just not playing great right now. I mean, there's a lot of those guys that it's like, I don't know. Like, there's question marks, and nobody knows what to do with John Rahm. He's in there somewhere. And then can Cam Young win on Long Island, right? Like, another guy, good win player, hits the ball straight, peppers fairways long.
Going to be popular, you'd have to imagine.
Huh?
Going to be popular, you'd have to imagine.
Going to be popular, of course, like 20-1 or whatever that is, but also a guy who just hasn't been playing great recently. Like, he might have peaked a touch too early for a U.S. Open that I'm sure he cares a ton about.
Yeah, you mentioned Xander Schauffele and his U.S. Opens.
Wild.
Let me list off his U.S. Open record, and then we're going to go to Rory's, because you think this is good. Wait till you get to Rory's. T5, T6, T3, 5th, T7, T14, T10, T7, T12. Nothing worse than T14 in his entire career.
9 years, yeah. Including this event at Shinnecock.
Yeah, T2. Which I did not remember until I started looking stuff up today, that he was T2. I think there were a couple of guys. I have it pulled back up here. Where'd we go?
He was T2? I don't think he was T2.
Did I flip? Am I reading something wrong?
T6.
T6. Sorry, it's in different orders because of the.
Tommy was solo too last time with that Sunday 63.
Yeah, with the PGA bumping, I was looking on the third row. He was T2 in the Open Championship that year. But let me read you Rory McIlroy's U.S. Open record. Since 2019, because after he just was terrible, it felt like after he won his. I'm going to just give you the contrasting here because it's wild. 2010, cut. 2011, win. 2012, cut. 2013, T41. 2014, T23. 2015, T9. 16, 17, 18, cut. Since then, T9, T8, T7, T5, second, T19.
And he was playing awful last year when he T19. Yeah.
And he should have won 2 of those too.
Thanks for the reminder about Pinehurst. Appreciate that.
I was on him that week too.
But yeah, and I'm sure he'll be back. If you were gonna tell me I got to pick Scotty or Rory, it's definitely Rory this week.
Yeah.
Don't love the price if you are into that kind of thing. 10-1 feels a little low.
Yeah, you're not feeling great about it. I see 12-1 here, so I mean it might bump a little bit as the week goes on and the money starts to spread around a little bit, but it could also go the other way if people get towards the start of the tournament and they're like, let's just get it on Rory.
Right.
Anybody else? I mean, Spieth, the Links Master, your boy.
There's a really good chance that this plays a little bit more like a British than it does a U.S. Open. It's just kind of the Shinnecock style. Spieth's played pretty good golf this year. He does it in really weird ways. I saw he almost nailed a spectator today in the practice round. It's always an adventure with him. But it's probably, if he's going to get another U.S. Open in this kind of Spieth 2.0 era, it feels like Shinnecock's one of them. Like, it doesn't feel like he's going to go to like Marion and win one of those incredibly tight golf courses and whatnot. But it feels like Shinnecock could be a Spieth course. The guy who I am thinking about making my top selection is Matt Fitzpatrick, who we have not talked about, and is playing incredible golf. Really, Fitzpatrick's your last name. It's been your year thus far. And again, it's a golf course that should really fit him. I think he's one of the few Euros that come Sunday, if this thing turns very USA, will not give a shit about that part. He's going to hear it and probably laugh about it, similarly to how he did the Ryder Cup. I think there's some others.
And then down at Hilton Head, like the crowd completely went USA on, and he was like, it was awesome. Like, I love it.
Great point. So I think you're getting an incredibly fair number on a guy who's played really good golf and just last week finished second in Canada. Did he end up sneaking in with the Eagle on 18? So driving it longer than he ever has, drives it really straight, hits long irons well.
Stack system, man.
Stack system for the win. But I think if you told me right now you got to pick one guy, I think I'd give that guy a shot.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, a little bit of a weird little lull after he won Zurich. He went T52, T14, T36, and those are two of his only 4 non-top 25 finishes for the year. But like you said, bounced right back in Canada. And you could forgive him for being in a little bit of a lull coming out of winning the Zurich with his brother and kind of peaking there. And right after he'd won Heritage and had won the Valspar just a couple weeks before that too, like kind of had to come down a little bit. And, a T14 at a major in your come down is not a bad, stretch of golf to be right back with a second. So yeah, 100%.
I don't believe he has the baby swag yet, but the baby swag's on the way.
Oh, is it?
I believe. I don't know when that happens. If he's close this time, could be Open Championship season next month.
I will be remiss if I don't name my boy. I'm gonna say it just so I can get it in. He hasn't. I don't think he's been playing too good this year. But Harris English, I mean, flusher. So I mean, it wouldn't shock me if it feels like this dude's got a good like U.S. Open record for like a guy of his caliber. It wouldn't shock me if he was around the finish at some point. Yeah, I mean, in the last 6-7 years, he's got a 4th, a 3rd, a T8, and then a bunch of non-competitive shit, but finds his way up in there every couple of years, it feels like.
Yeah, I would very similar weird stretch for someone that, I mean, he's my guy, who I had not really thought of until I heard someone rattle him off earlier today, north of 100-1. It feels like a Ricky Fowler type of U.S. Open golf course, if he's going to win one. Really bad the last month or so. Was really, really good before that. Had, I think, 3 straight top 10s at one point. One of the best win players in the world, if the conditions get bad. But if there's going to be one, again, he's not going to win one at some of these other places. He's not a Torrey Pines U.S. Open champ. He's not a Marion U.S. Open champ. But you get one where the wind's going to blow and you got to do some funky stuff with your golf ball. Much more likely to take a look at him down the board than some other guys.
He's due for just kind of a random, like, I'm going to be involved in a major. He hasn't been involved in a major since the U.S. Open back at LACC. And I'm also looking at this. He's only played the Masters one time in the last 6 events.
Yeah, the only year he got in was when he won was it Rocket
Minneapolis
Mortgage?
The next week after that U.S. Open.
Yeah. So, yeah.
That's probably a sign that we shouldn't be talking about him for too much longer.
Yeah, I was done. But I appreciate you giving him a couple extra seconds here.
Anybody else, like a Chris Gotterup, Justin Thomas? I mean, Fleetwood?
Yeah. Gotterup's interesting. Northeast kid coming back to the Northeast.
I mean, he hits a bullet of a golf ball. Like
bullet of a golf ball. And if you think back to Aronimink, when those conditions got really, really bad, he was the one guy who made his move up the leaderboard, and then he kind of just disappeared. Don't love that. I think I saw his number get crushed today. I thought he opened at like 50 or 55, and I think I saw like 35 or 40 already. But he's one. And then I keep saying his name, and I don't know why. He hasn't won in a while, but I think I touted him for the PGA and let us down. But like, it kind of feels like a Sepp Straka course a little bit. But he's been not as good. I know he immediately left, I think, Aronimink and went over to Austria for his home open, and played okay over there. But feels like a Sepp Straka plotter golf course as well. Just let the big man get up there and pepper fairways and see if the hole gets in the way enough times.
You know who I'm definitely not counting out of this is Pat Reed.
Never.
Like, this feels like, I don't know, man. Just feels like this, if it gets weird and it gets grindy, like, the dude's just playing majors. He's probably been there a couple of times.
Like, he's been to Shinnecock a couple times?
Yeah, you'd have to think he's been up there.
Was he not there in 2018? Was that just before his time?
Nope, he took 4th there in 2018.
I was going to say.
Because I remember there was a tweet that year, now that you say this, because he'd won the Masters that year. And there was a point where he was like looking like he could win, and somebody tweeted, it's one of the greatest tweets ever. I'm glad you brought this back to my memory by saying this, that Pat Reed's going to win the U.S. Open, and he's going to row the boat George Washington across the Delaware and across the ocean to go win the British, to be 3/4 of the way to the Grand Slam, because the PGA was still last that year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to guess. I mean, his last 2 tournaments have been the Masters and the PGA, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, who knows what his game's like and how it's going to perform, but
he's been off for a while. The only other name that I think I would think of that we probably haven't talked about, I just pulled up the list of odds as well. Russell Henley's played really good golf.
Yeah.
And it kind of, I don't know if the stats agree, but like Russell Henley, Sepp Straka, Sam Burns, Matt they all feel like kind of the same golfer to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
like,
think
hit it
this is
far enough,
but they're not the Bombers.
They're not
but
wild.
Straighter than the Bombers.
Yep, but not like super straight.
Player.
Like, it's weird how they're all like the exact same guy now that you say that.
Yeah. And they're all like slightly lower odds than you'd probably like. Like Russell Henley 35-1 doesn't scream like a great play, but I mean, it feels like a Russell Henley type of golf course. It sounds much more fun to say like Justin Thomas 50-1. Feels like a terrible Justin Thomas golf course.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. You say that like their odds feel lower than they should. And I don't know that yes, I agree. Like, they feel lower than they should, but like, I think they're priced right. Like, those guys are better golfers than Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth and name whoever else, like, of that
Victor
young crop.
Hovland, 55
Victor
to
Hovland.
1.
Yep. Like, all these guys you thought were going to be and have shown flashes of being really, really great. Like, week to week, year to year, over the last 2-3 years, like, the Henleys and the Burns and the Strakas have been better than the Spieths and the Thomases and the Victor Hovlands. Like, it's a weird reality that some of the bigger names that popped have been just not as good as those guys.
No doubt. I see Hideki far down the board.
This doesn't feel right for Hideki.
Doesn't feel right. I will say a long shot that I feel like does make some sense to me looking down the board. Kurt Kitayama feels like he's got the profile to be able to play well at a Shinnecock. But just not a ton of winning experience in a major championship. Really, even a contending experience in a major championship that I can think of.
You know who I kept scrolling by on the odd sheet, and I don't think it'd be like a bet to win, but was Adam Scott. Like, I just kept seeing him as I went by. My eyes just kept getting drawn to him, and now I want to know how he did here in 2018. Because if you're gonna have to strike the shit out of it, he missed the cut in 2018, so maybe not. Maybe just disregard that right away.
I also just went way down the leaderboard for a name that I just had to quick look up, and I see his form is T37 missed cut, T28 missed cut the last 4 weeks. But what odds would you think that Akshay Bhatia would have for this event 3 months ago when he had just won Arnold Palmer, he had just top 10 at Pebble Beach, was playing really good golf, and then ever since he went over to India, you remember that? He played great at the Players and then went over to the India Open to play that funky tournament with like a crater bunker in the one fairway. And he's come back and just completely lost his game. He's 140 something to 1.
Jesus. I mean, you would have think coming out of the Arnold Palmer, he'd be in that 50 to 40 to 1.
Like I can't bet Akshay instead of Justin Thomas, but you should.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
just cratered out. I mean, that's like, where's he on this one? This one has him at 100 to 1, but here's the names he's around in that one. Alex Smalley, Alex Fitzpatrick, Gary Woodland, Ryan Gerard, Nicolai Højgaard, Christopher Rattan, Bud Colley, Alex Noren. That's where he's at. He's a weird guy that it feels like you kind of start getting on his bandwagon, and it's like, oh, he's going to be on the Ryder Cup or the President's Cup team this year. And then he just disappears through the middle of summer.
Yeah. It's strange. It's strange.
Very strange. Very strange indeed. Anybody else we didn't mention? You know who we haven't mentioned one time yet? Jon Rahm.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I couldn't tell you what he's done. So he's kind of just a toss for me because I'm just going to let him beat me. I have no idea. It feels like a good golf course for him. Or at least for the Jon Rahm that we remember before he left for LIV. Though there weren't many bad golf courses for that version of Jon Rahm. But I
mean, he's played well in the majors the last 2 years, really. For the most part. I mean, the Masters has not been his thing since he went to LIV, but PGA T8, T2, T7 in the U.S. Open last year, and then a T34 in the Open Championship.
T8 of the round?
T2.
What?
PGA 2026. Yeah, T2.
I just don't remember that at all.
I can't say I really do either.
How backdoor did that go?
Let me see here. How did that happen? He started off tied for one back of Alex Smalley. He never really went anywhere. He fell back to 4 under when Aaron Rai took the lead on 9, getting it to 5 under. He was 4 under on the 8th hole. He got to 5 under on the back 9 and just kind of hovered around at 6. Yeah, he was right there.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, now I'm like remembering this as it's like kind of come together for me because Alex Smalley made that eagle on 16.
Right.
To kind of get himself back into like a really back door. And then Thomas was posted.
Thomas posted early. I remember that. If you would have asked me what John Rahm finished, I would have guessed like T26. Not great for your resident golf expert here.
No, I wouldn't have said that. I would have thought it was a T10, but I didn't remember that he hung around. But now I am remembering it because it was like kind of like because they had completely lost Aaron Rye after he made all the bogeys for good reason, like on the telecast. And then he made the eagle, and then it was like, holy shit. And it went from like, we're on Justin Thomas watch to, oh shit, here comes Aaron Rye. And like now Matty Schmidt is out there like trying to hold the lead.
Right.
So it was odd. And then Schauffele was out there just kind of fucking around too. So.
Well, that I was very well aware of as someone who touted Xander Schauffele on that podcast in prep of that. I was very aware of what that asshole was doing.
All right. Anything else for our guessing at winners here? Now that we named about half the board. So
we did. If you're listening to the Ole Walls House US
find
Open
someone
preview,
we didn't talk about
because heard the winner.
I was going to say, find someone we didn't talk about, and that's probably who the winner is.
Well, you're a data golf guy, so I saw something today. I'd love to pop one name up to you. I wonder if you know where this is going.
No clue.
We did not talk about Jackson Koiven.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And supposedly Jackson Koiven is the 46th ranked player in the world right now, according to Data Golf. And that puts him ahead of a lot of really, really good players, and some of which who we have talked about today. He's turning pro after this U.S. Open. But I've heard his name as somebody like, watch Jackson Koiven this week. And an amateur winning, although he's kind of not really an amateur, he's just a pro playing for free this week. Winning would feel like a gigantic ask at Shinnecock.
48 in the data golf.
I'm sorry, 48.
Rankings. Yeah,
but ahead
pretty goddamn close.
Some guys that are like legit players.
How does this work? I have a J on. I was like, why am I seeing 3 first? Let's see who's around. So better than Gary Woodland, Ricky, Sepp Straka, Keith Mitchell, Brooks Koepka, Jason Day, Mark Meisner, Brian Harmon.
And Gary Woodland just won 2 months ago.
Yeah. I mean, in the other direction.
This guy was playing like the Southern Intercollegiate.
JT Poston, Jacob Bridgman, Akshay, all kind of right around that's like a point. He's 0.88 strokes gained on data golf. So
Akshay won a signature event. Bridgman won a signature event.
Yeah, now if you go to the data golf points, he's like 280. But yeah, that the data golf rankings are just strictly strokes gained. So
right,
I mean, correct. John Rahm's still third in the data golf rankings, 2 shots gained around.
Maybe we should take a deeper look at John.
Maybe. I mean, Matt Fitzpatrick plus 1.83 or 1.82 around. I mean, data golf top 5 is Scotty, Rory, Rahm, Cam Young, Matt Fitzpatrick, and then a guy we actually haven't mentioned at all, Tommy Fleetwood.
Oh, yeah. He's not fun to talk about or root for or really anything. But, yeah.
I'll talk about him when he wins an actual event. I'm not counting a 30-man tour championship. Not doing it.
I respect it.
Not doing it. You know who's oddly high? Wyndham Clark. 18th. 1.31 strokes gained around. Better than Bryson, Adam Scott, Justin Thomas, Jake Knapp, Victor Havlin, Ben Griffin, who's just gone back to obscurity this year. JJ Spawn, oddly high, 13th.
He won this year. I know that. I had that. But, yeah, it just feels, I mean, I guess it's credit to Data Golf for being able to take what somebody does in a college event and like put it into their system. But I guess if they're doing live, from some random cow pasture and wherever they are, they can do the event that's being held by like Auburn or Pepperdine or whatever.
Where do you think Pat Cantlay is on the data golf rankings?
Talk about a loser. It's gotta. I don't know. I'm not sure why you asked. If you're asking because it's way lower, or asking. He feels like a guy, having finally rid myself of an addiction of.
I'll say this: he's 36th in the world golf rankings.
Yeah, so I was a Pat Cantlay.
I've been on that train
for a while.
Yep.
And I finally cut the addiction. I'm off it. I'm just going to let him and his black and khaki outfits beat me if he does. But I feel like the data is going to say he's playing well. So I'm going to say he's like 21st.
11th.
Oh, yeah. Ow.
I was just scrolling it. Siwoo Kim is 10th and Pat Cantlay is 11th. Ahead of Burns, Spawn, Mav McNeely, Colin Morikawa, Goddard, Harris English, Wyndham Clark, Bryson.
Yeah, Nutty. No, that's...
I think you can kind of, like, cheat the data golf a little bit if you're, like, consistently, like, finishing, like, 30th.
Right.
And, like, you don't have any spikes.
And that feels like Cantlay, right?
Because, like, you can spike yourself. You can spike yourself high in, like, the world golf rankings or, like, any sort of points list. And Cantlay's just not doing that at all.
Well, but I do know.
If you just finish, like, 25th all the time, like, you're playing better than most of the field all the time.
So I just pulled up his since the Arnold Palmer, he's gone T32, T7, T12, T8, T10, T35, T17.
I would have never guessed that. Those must be backdoor of all backdoors.
Yeah.
Well, no, the Masters actually was reverse. He shot himself out of the Masters and the Heritage, but the other ones, some nice Sunday finishes, like Valspar 67 on Sunday, Truist 69 on Sunday, PGA 68 on Sunday, Memorial 67 on Sunday. He's been kind of accruing some like backdoor top 15, like sliding up the board from like 25th to like 17th to like 8th kind of deal.
Right. That was not an endorsement on Patrick Cantlay from the Ole Walls house.
I'm not doing that anymore because I was on that train for far too long and just watched Sundays where you'd be like, oh, Cantlay's 2 back. And then you'd see him on like putting out on 9 and be like, oh, Cantlay's 3 back.
Yep.
Top 10. Cool.
After missing at least one 9-footer for birdie in the first 4 holes.
Yep.
And just looking puzzled with his like Insperity hat or Goldman Sachs hat or whatever he
with the Craftsman on this. Was it Craftsman? Or was it Home Depot?
He's a clown.
It was some sort of tool brand. All right, let's end with this. Let's just kind of go back, and you can go historical if you want to like look back way in history, or if you want to just go like U.S. Opens that have like lingered in your mind as fun, memorable, whatever you want to call it. And we'll just kind of like go back and forth and see if we can get like, I don't know, 8 to 10 of them out here. Because you said this off air before we started, like there've been some stinkers. And like, I'll just eliminate a stinker for us right off the top. Like 2020 when Bryson won was a stinker.
Complete stinker.
But there have been some really fun ones in the last 25 years too. So I'll let you kind of lead off and, just give us a little bit of why you enjoyed it and why it was a fun day or something like that.
Yeah, so I think we will all, I'm guessing, throw out 2008 Torrey, right? Like, I think we all understand why that one was really cool and led to kind of a not really fun Monday finish. Yeah. But, like, that one, I think, that's probably the one from before our golf viewing, like, real dive-in era. One of my favorites was the Chambers Bay.
I had that on my list.
And I really wish there's two golf courses that I would love the USGA to give another look to for a men's event, and it's Chambers Bay and it's Erin Hills. I think they're both really, really good venues. I know I played Erin Hills shortly after it was there. The caddy said they haven't seen 4 days without wind like that since the event was there. But the Chambers Bay event was really, really good, and not a Spieth guy. Spieth kind of got to backdoor himself into that one at the very end, but I found Chambers Bay to be very, very, very entertaining.
And all like the discussion around it, like there was the hole that was a par 5 one day, and then they changed it to a par 4.
Yeah,
the greens were nutty. People were going just ape shit, like randomly. Like Louis Oosthuizen shot like 30 on the back 9.
Yep.
Spieth
Somebody aced a par 4 in a practice round, right?
Yep. There's still the picture of the dude holding up the quiet signs as the train goes by. Like,
fantastic.
Just great content came out of that one.
And I don't have any anything that actually says this, but I believe that was at the time where Fox had the U.S. Open, correct?
I think it was their first one.
Yeah, and
so I think that was kind of a train
wreck. A lot
of
really funky like graphics, and they were like throwing arrows up on the screen, and I think it was pre goalpost, but it was.
I forgot the goalpost.
I forget. This is a great. There was a goalpost on like a really important hole. I forget which one it was, and the guy missed the goalpost by like a complete shank off the tee, and then they're like, "Oh, he's perfectly fine over here. You got a great lie." I forget which one that was, but the Chambers Bay one for me, I found
they were doing mics in the cup. Yeah, remember the ball would be like ding, 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 and you're like, what the fuck is happening?
Correct.
Yeah, I had that one on my list for sure. I was going to start there and say that one kind of gets remembered like poorly, I think, for like all the wrong reasons. Like, yeah, the greens were bad, but like I go back and I watch, like you'll see it pop up on Twitter. You're like, watch Dustin Johnson's last hole, and you watch him hit it, and you're like, he just won. Like every time, I'm like, he just won the U.S. Open.
It's hard to believe he lost it.
Yeah,
it's like
he didn't touch the hole either time on the putts, if I'm remembering correctly.
He hit 2 incredible golf shots on the final hole, and just did not matter.
Yeah, he was in the final group too, right?
He was.
Nutty. Absolutely nutty. I'll do kind of one thing you did here too. Like, I'm just going to throw out Tiger Woods in 2000. I remember like having this on the TV. My brother was still living at home, and like him and my mom and my dad being like, this is unbelievable. Like, what's happening right now? Like, I don't really have a conceptual understanding of it, like from watching it at the time, but like you go back and you watch the highlights, and you know, this isn't even a fair fight call, like all that stuff, just nutty. Tiger was playing with like the essentially like a Pro V, while everybody else was playing with the professional. So, you know, asterisk there, but still one of the most unbelievable things of all time. But the first one I can really remember like digging into, and I don't know why this one stands out to me, but was 2009 at Bethpage. It was a ton of rain. It was a Monday finish. And like, I just remember like watching live from, and it just was like, it felt like Saturday, Sunday was more live from than it was actual golf because of how much rain had happened. And then I say 2009 is like the year of almost the greatest major winners of all time, because you could have had Kenny Perry that year at the Masters, like old man gets his first major ever, like had spent like the entire year before. His goal was like, I'm going to make the Ryder Cup team, was like skipping the British Open, was like playing in all these like lesser events just to rack up extra points so he could make the Ryder Cup team, and then kind of carried that momentum over into that. Then the U.S. Open that year, David Duval had the lead at one point, I think, and ended up making like a triple on a par 3 because he left one in the bunker, and then I think it rolled into his footprint or something. Phil almost won that U.S. Open, so like either of those two would have been incredible. That was the Tom Watson British Open that he blew to Stuart Sink, And then Tiger gives up the 2009 PGA to Y.E. Yang, first person to ever chase down Tiger in the final round. Yep. So, like, your winners could have been, like, Kenny Perry with, like, the all-time walk-off, David Duval either returning out of, 10 years in the wilderness, or Phil finally getting his U.S. Open, Tom Watson winning at 60, and then Tiger. And instead we got Angel Cabrera, Lucas Glover, Stuart Sink, and Y.E. Yang.
Yeah.
So, like, I remember that being, like, the first year I was, like, really into watching golf. So that was a fun one to me.
Yeah, I will. I'm torn between one of two. I don't know that either of us want to pick one of them. We kind of mentioned it earlier, but I'm going to go with Fitz at the Country Club. I thought that was a really, really entertaining Sunday. Mm-hmm. I happened to have a stake in Zalatoris at that time.
That was when he couldn't putt. He was, like, figure eighting the putter.
Yes, correct. But I just thought that, like, good golf course. Hadn't been there in a while, if I remember correctly. Just really enjoyed watching it, and it came down to literally, like, putts, shots. Fitzpatrick from the bunker on 18. People thinking he was in trouble over there. Had to kind of hit the perfect shot to get it on the green. Did, and then Willie Z had a putt. And just missed it. And then I'm looking here and I see that Scotty was right there for that one.
Yeah, Scotty was actually involved in that one. Yep.
Too, but it doesn't. I remember it being a Fitz and a Zalatoris thing at the very, very end. But really, really enjoyable U.S. Open for me that came down to literally the final putt.
Yep. Another one. Where was it? Where'd I go? I just had something that was 13 at Marion. Was a fun one. A lot of guys involved coming down the stretch, if I remember right. Steve Stricker shanked one on Shot Tracer. Like, dead right, and Shot Tracer caught it. Unbelievable. But
that's amazing.
Phil, like, out of it, holes one out at one point. The leaderboard ended up spacing out a little bit here. Justin Rose won by 2, but I felt like there was points. I'm going to try and pull up the... Yeah, there was a point on, like, when they're all through 10, you had Rose, Day, Mickelson at even through 10 holes, and then Hunter Mahan was at 1 over, and Hunter Mahan was just 1 back until he made a double late. Just kind of wild shit coming down the stretch. I think it spaced out late, but, like, early in the day, there was some weird shit going on.
Yeah. I'll say it. Pinehurst was really fun when we were there 2 years ago. Just a disastrous, brutal ending for us Rory backers, and people rooting for Rory. Talk about a guy who Patrick Cantlay was in there, and everybody just rooting against Patrick Cantlay.
I wasn't. I'd picked Cantlay that week. I picked Cantlay and Rory. I was like, could one of you two win?
Nope, of course not. But I thought that was really, really fun event. First time back to Pinehurst since Keimer torched everybody back in, 2014, and just ran away from it and made Pinehurst not really very fun at all. But Pinehurst is always interesting. You got all that sand and the native areas that they're hitting out of, and you get it in there, and one guy gets a perfect lie, and he's just hitting off sand, and another guy's in the middle of weeds, but his ball's fine. And the
shit behind him.
The other guy's ball's in shit, but he's standing in fine stuff. Really good venue, obviously, and that one was fun.
You know what I didn't remember from that is that Tony Finau kind of made a little bit of a run here.
Oh yeah,
got to 1 over, then made an eagle, and then 3 more birdies coming in. Finished 2 back, so I mean, not in it, but like, Rory got it to 8 under, 1 up on Bryson. They both made bogeys on 15. Then Rory bogeyed 16 and 18. Obviously, the putt on 18, and then peeled himself out of the driveway.
Yep, rightfully so. Rightfully so.
Now the thing is, we've kind of caught them all. I think outside. I mean, if you go back, I mean, really, I think the only other one, I mean, I don't remember the Brooks one actually being that interesting. He made a great bogey on that one par 3, and that felt like he kind of like saved himself. I can't remember exactly. Fleetwood shot the 60.
Brooks's bogey was on 11, wasn't it?
11?
No.
Let me see if I can find it on here.
It was on.
Yep, 11.
Yeah, like long and just completely dead,
and chipped it back into the bunker on the other side. Yeah,
correct. And he's talked about that being the thing that like really settled him into the close there.
Yeah, so he was probably up 3 at the time starting that hole, and then it felt like, oh, if he makes double here,
like everybody's back in it.
Yeah, everybody's back in it because Johnson, DJ was at 3, Reed was at 3, Finau was at 3, Berger was at like 4-ish probably. Hatton was back at 6. Fleetwood, I think, had probably almost finished by that point. Justin Rose was probably somewhere in the 5 to 6 range based on where he was to start the day. So yeah, it was like, oh, if this happens, like everybody's back in it.
Yeah, I'll give one more, and I touched on it earlier when I said Chambers Bay. Aaron Hills wasn't a fun ending. But Aaron Hills was a really, really fun Sunday. And I'm looking at the start of the leaderboard on Sunday. Harmon 12, Fleetwood, Koepka, JT 11, Ricky 10, Siwoo 9. And it was really fun for a while. Koepka came out and birdied the first 2 holes. But Fleetwood made a birdie in there. Ricky did nothing for me, so that stunk. But if you look past Koepka, who birdied 14, 15, 16 to kind of put the tournament
Harmon
on
ice.
And
Koepka were tied through 11
the whole
holes.
time. Yeah, correct. And Ricky was only 2 back, typical at that time. Fleetwood was in it the whole time.
Yeah, Fleetwood was really, probably around 2 back.
Until 14, it was a golf tournament. And Koepka kind of just took it over, and then Harmon bogeyed 18 to make it look a little bit bigger of a deficit than it was. But Aaron Hills is a really fun golf course. I know the women were just there. Was that last year for the U.S. Women's Open, I think?
Last year, maybe the year before. Also, really the thing about Aaron Hills that always gets, they're like, oh, they shot 16 under. It's like, yeah, they played it as a par 72. They play every other U.S. Open as a par 70.
Correct.
Like the total 272. Cut it down to par 70 because par is an irrelevant number.
Nobody cares.
It's 8 under and no one says a goddamn word. They're just like, oh, wind didn't blow. So, I mean, bang that thing down to a par 70.
Gary Woodland was 13 at Pebble Beach in 2019. Yeah. Like, Wyndham Clark won at 10. Bryson went 6 under at Pinehurst. Like, Rahm went 6 under at Torrey. Bryson went 6 under at Wingfoot. Like, their guys are good. If you move one of the tee boxes up 10, they could have moved one up 10 yards and played it as a par 4 without a doubt.
And, yeah, I mean, Wyndham Clark, 270. Matt Fitzpatrick, 274. Bryson, 274. Gary Woodland, 271. Martin Keimer, 271. I mean, Rory, 268. That golf course was fucking drenched.
Let's get the U.S. Open back to Aaron Hills, and we have Ole Walls House. Live and in person watch
on the ground.
On the grounds. All our fans nationwide, worldwide, come on out to Wisconsin.
I mean, are there even any 2043 is the next US Open that's available?
Well, that's stupid.
They don't have 2043, 2046 and 2048. Every other US Open until 2051 is named and decided where they're going.
Well, what? Yeah, I mean,
that's dumb.
It's really dumb. Yeah,
and I do miss them kind of bouncing around a little bit because it's. I mean, here's what it is going forward: Shinnecock, Pebble, just pulled it up. Wingfoot, Pinehurst, Marion, Riv, Pebble, Oakmont, Oakland Hills, Pinehurst, Shinnecock, Pebble. Country Club, LACC, Marion, Pinehurst, Oakmont, Pebble, Inverness. No shit.
That's fun.
Pinehurst,
Bangalore,
Oakmont, Marion,
60.
Oakland. Yeah.
Why are they going to Riv?
I don't know. Seems weird.
It's dumb. Yeah, I know that they a bunch of them. I think Marion got 30, 40, and 50, right? If I remember.
Marion,
and then
30,
didn't they do a thing with Pinehurst?
Yep.
They announced some deal like Pinehurst is like every
Pinehurst
5
is every
years.
5 years now.
Every 6 years or whatever it is.
Yeah, Pinehurst is again in 29.
Every 6 years.
35.
29,
yep,
35, years. 41, 47.
Yep.
But like
Oakmont's in there like every 6 or 7.
We're going back to LA Country Club. Like,
yeah, that they must have announced that. That must have been like a 2 for right away.
2 for the people. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, they're all really good golf courses. It's hard to argue. I think they're afraid. They did 2 different ones. They did Chambers Bay. They did Erin Hills. Both of them flopped. I actually was looking up the Chambers Bay one, and I saw Henrik Stenson was quoted as saying that it was like putting on broccoli.
Yeah, that's the quote.
So they're probably all those places host them all the time. They know what they're doing. They know where the grandstands go. It's easy on their end. But feels
they
like
make a ton of money at them, I'm sure.
Yeah. It feels like there's got to be some other places out there that they'd be fun, but the PGA's got a little bit more of a versatile list. So,
yep. Well, man, I think that was a good one. We got a good hour plus in us there, so
great chatting.
I think we can call it there and faithfully say we'll be back Sunday or Monday night and discussing the outcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Jeff. Well, I appreciate it, man.
Of course. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. The United States Championship.
Yes.
Let's see some carnage. Let the wind blow.
Yeah, just if the wind blows, I think we're in for a fun-ass week.
Yep.
All right, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Yes. Thanks for having me.
Time for some passing thoughts. All right, let's just throw the guards in here real quick. Ooh, kind of a tough week last week. Get swept by the Yankees. Had a chance to win Tuesday, and then Tim Herron gave up a bomb to Chisholm I believe that was the 8th inning. But then bounced back to win 2 games against the Tigers. The 3rd game gets rained out, so 2-game sweep, 3-2 week, not terrible. Tied with the White Sox in the division now, but the thing is, Jose Ramirez out 5 to 7 weeks with a broken hamate bone in his hand. I mean, there's got to be someone's going to have to do something to just keep them alive. Kwan's got to find something. DeLauder got to get there. Angel Ramirez, Manzardo, like this, people just got to step up. The pitching's got to stay tight. But yeah, some extended time without Jose. Couldn't come at a finer time for me. I'm going to see him Thursday when they play the Brewers. But you know, a guy that's been pretty reliable player the last, for basically his entire career. I mean, 152 games, 157, 129 and 19. 2020 was the weird COVID year, but then 152, 157, 156, 158, 158, and has played in 72 games thus far this year, just about every game this year. Really just very disappointing for my guy Jose to see him go down to that kind of weird injury. So they're going to have to just buckle up and batten down the straps and stick to the deck, boys. Find a little bit of a road trip week for them out here in the Wisconsin and Milwaukee this week. I was going to see the Cleveland. I was going to see my guy Jose, and then Miz was slated to pitch for the Brewers. They've, I think, since moved him off that, and they're going to save him for their next series because probably because they're like, oh, fucking Cleveland, they can't hit anyway. Who cares? So I am still excited to go to said game though. So gotta kind of batten down the straps here as they move forward. I got in this set of reels on Instagram of like dogs being ashamed, and as my dog sits here and pouts on the floor, he's ready for me to be done. It's like I've never seen my dog be ashamed. I think I've maybe seen him be ashamed once in his life. Like he gets in trouble and he's like, "Oh, this is fun. This is fun. This is fun." Just a couple other things. It's been we got a lot of pod in already here, so I'm going to keep this kind of short. But the Freddie Twitter account, Freddie from Germany, who's over here for the World Cup, just putting on an absolute masterclass display on Twitter. That is Freddie LA7. I mean, guy came over here just road tripping around for the World Cup. He's going to an Ella Langley concert now. JJ Watt's buying him hotel rooms. I mean, it starts off, he goes to Buc-ee's and like, this is the greatest thing ever. And now he's just living it up to the nth degree. Just absolutely incredible stuff from that guy coming over for the World Cup. So just wild in that aspect. I do want to say one thing on like the soccer fans in the States, and this kind of popped. And for the most part, I have zero problem. They're very active. They're very passionate. I love it. They're singing at games and stuff like that. But like they were getting a lot of love for singing the Scots. We're getting a lot of love for singing and I would walk 500 miles and I would at the Boston game. But it's like, okay, yeah, I love it. You're getting after it. But like that doesn't make them the greatest fans in the world. Like they're just not paying attention to the game. It's not like just they've been singing for 7 minutes. Like the game's going on and they're not paying attention. So let's just not get out of control. Just not get totally out of control here. Couple other things. Apparently Liv has only received $200 of the $600 million they need to finish out the season from the PIF at this point. So interesting to say the least. They're on a little bit of a hiatus here. So we'll see if they make it to the end. And then just kind of two other things here. I was going to play Geo Sports. I was going to do the Geo Sports game on the pod. And then it's just like the first thing I do in the morning. So I'd be like very cheaty to like do it and like, or like try and fake and put them where I had them. That'd be dumb. So I'm going to try and remember and do that for next week. But that is a fun game, that Geo Sports game. I really enjoy it. It kind of combines two things I really like. A sports trivia to go with a little geography trivia. Two of kind of my favorite things in trivia sense. So the one other thing, I was driving through town the other day and someone walked, they were at the crosswalk, but like 5 feet, like not even 5, probably like 10 feet, like just far enough away from it that like I felt obligated to not stop to let him cross. It's like, just take 3 steps and you're in the crosswalk. If it was, you're in the middle of the street and the crosswalks are all the way in, cross wherever. But like, if you're in the vicinity of it, just get into it. Just get into the crosswalk. I don't understand why we can't just take 2 or 3 more steps and find ourselves in the crosswalk. It just makes no sense whatsoever to me. Like, just do it. Just get there. Just get there. And the last thing, I saw this, and I should verify it a little bit here. But if this is true, and I've said it, that this is one of the dumbest things of all time. Okay, it got paused. The Netherlands had a 36% tax on unrealized capital gains originally slated for January 1st, 2028 implementation. That has been halted because of some pushback, thankfully, because unrealized gains is just paper profits. Like if you're invested in the stock market and your stocks go up, so you have just round numbers, $100,000, and your stocks go up 50,000. They're like, we want taxes on that 50,000. You haven't cashed it out. It's like you don't necessarily even have that money. And God knows how do you come up with 36% of 50? So that's what 10% is 5. So 36 is like 17,500 $500. Like if you're just investing in like a 401k and you're like, you just made 50 grand. Let's take 17.5 of that, please. It's like, well, what do? You have to sell off the stocks? It's just nutty. Absolute nutty. Oh, I mean, and like you could have unrealized gains your houses, and it's like taxes never like stop is always my thing. It's like, oh yeah, like a 1% tax on this. That's what income tax in the United States started as, a 1% tax on like the top 1%, something like that. Don't quote me on the exacts, but like it never stops. Like look where we're at now. You got people again pissed at like Elon Musk paper wealth because he's a trillionaire now. And it's like, yeah, because his stock, he had an IPO in his companies that are doing well. And what do you want? You're going to tax him 1% of that? It's like, okay, 100 billion of a trillion doesn't seem like much. But it's like, where's he getting it from? He doesn't just have money sitting around in a bank account. I know, Boomer. I'm upset about these unrealized tax too. So anyway, I could get rambling pointlessly. So let's just call this a day. Closing time, everybody. Just want to thank you all. Thank you so much. Appreciate the support. Please like, review, comment, subscribe, share, do all that stuff. Thank you to producer Kevy for helping get us started on video. Boomer, it's okay. We're getting done. We're finishing. Thank you to everybody. Back next week, U.S. Open review, a whole lot of other stuff. Don't forget to check my guy MJ out over on the Full Range Pod. You can find his merch and some of my merch over there. Link is in the show notes below. Thank you to Jeff Slanovec for hopping on with us. So, till next week. Peace.